something.
No,
to-
no, and
I
that's
would say,
having
take a year and walk around with that question. Every activity that you participate in, everything that the parish does. Life, mission, and work of the faith community. That's the language in here. Not special. One of the models that we talk about for youth ministry, and for years I did this, is youth ministry is a satellite that orbits the planet of parish. And sometimes there's radio communication, but the kids are out here on the satellite, and the parish is the planet, and it orbits it. And then, you know, the kids haven't lived on the planet really, you know, and there's not always a way to get them back down there. And so I don't know, do we build a space elevator? I don't want to go too far with the metaphor, but so to walk around with that question for a year and say, what else? How else?
Well, I think the question came up probably during the last year when we had a super focus on activity. And we discovered, and I would say that this is like a no-fault discovery. No fault.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
It's just that, aha, now there's this and there's something we could be doing. And so it's like when an opportunity arises. And I think we have this opportunity of making I think maybe we don't have the transitional piece.
Yeah.
And I think we're doing a good job with the sacraments and preparation for sacraments, would you say? I think really.
One place that I was that did that really well is they invited young people, as part of their confirmation process, they invited them into a ministry and then mentored them into that ministry. And they didn't do it alone. They would do those ministries in pairs. And it was cool. It was really cool what ended up happening. I saw a couple more hands.
What did you do after confirmation? You went into a home environment with a smaller group. We had to teach seminar retreats at the retreat house. There were things offered.
I also came from a family that was deeply engaged in parish life. And that, you know, it's hard to replace that. That said, you know, there's a long list of reasons why people may not be engaged in parish life, and the climate is different. I will tell you, in the last 10 years in youth ministry, the level of busyness is like nothing I've ever seen. These families are so stretched. These moms, particularly, who are often the ones who are getting the kids to church, they just, by the time they get them to confirmation, it's like they're collapsing on the doorstep. It's all they could do. They fulfilled their responsibilities, and now they're, thank God, you know, we can stop. And I mean, we trained them to do that too. You know, so let that be on us. But I love your no fault idea. Like, there's a whole bunch of reasons why this is where we're at right now. But let's look for opportunities. Let's walk around with that question. I feel like this is
resources
yeah.
for a good opportunity. You say they're out there. What are the resources that we have at our disposal to attach ourselves to these resources? There's got to be a lot. I don't know where they are.
Is there anything going on ecumenically with young people in Ontario anymore? Like one of the things, you know, again, this is back in dinosaur times. But, you know, when I was in high school, we had, and it was I think maybe one of the only ecumenical experiences I had ever had. We would do Lenten breakfasts. Get up before school. I can't imagine that I did that. I can't even imagine that I did that. But we would get up on Wednesday mornings during Lent. And my Catholic mother let me go to the Baptist church. Can you believe that? I blame her for my interfaith part. She's the one who made me a radical. No.
She doesn't remember. I think that was that original mixed marriage, the German and the Irish.
Yes, that must be it. Like my grandparents.
Didn't God make everybody?
One of the really cool things, and I was talking about what I was going to talk about tonight with my older son this afternoon, and one of the things he wanted me to point out about interfaith, because I've had parents parents concerned as I brought kids to the synagogue or the mosque or another Christian church, concerned that there was, some conversion that might happen there. And my son wanted me to point out how in many ways it's the opposite effect. Because so many kids of other faith traditions know more, they're more articulate about their faith, they're trained differently than our kids are. And so so the Catholic kids come back and want to learn more so they can enter into the dialogue intelligently. And so rather than have them pull away from their faith, it kind of makes them go deeper in. And that's kind of cool. And I'm not saying that, universally across the board, if you have a fundamentalist or evangelical force in town these days that's, they make it their mission to recruit Catholic kids because they think they're all going to hell. So I'm not saying just willy-nilly send them anywhere, but I am saying interfaith, especially when it's done well and done responsibly, can be a real faith strengthener too. So.
Can I be your admin here or something?
Absolutely.
Okay. First of all, I would love to get, you mentioned your things coming up, some way of publicizing that here.
I'll
So that
send you an
people,
email.
now, I know that we videotaped tonight, so there's opportunity for people who should have seen this to see it and hear it.
And if there's
But-
anything you think you should edit out to keep me out of trouble,
Right.
go ahead.
Thank you. But, to have that, what are those dates in June and May and so forth, and I'll take
Yeah, I'll
care
put
of
that all in an
getting
email
that
to you.
out to the people. And the other thing is, if you did not catch, when we talked, she keeps talking about interfaith, I caught Nora on Evan Dawson's show it must have been
Yeah,
last year.
when we were talking
And
about the
I caught the
conference.
show, if you haven't listened to Evan Dawson, it's a talk show on XXI, or, no, or you are, whatever.
No, it's the.
XXI.
Okay, he's on both, anyway.
Right, yeah, he's on the.
And I was listening to this interfaith show, and I didn't know who was on because it was half over. And I'm driving along, and I'm like, God, who is that woman? She is so articulate. She is so wonderful about what she's talking. And then finally he says, so Nora. And I think, I bet it is. Oh my God. And it was. And anyway, it's available still on podcast. So, I don't remember what date it was or whatever, but just,
If you look up Nora and Interfaith or Nazareth College.
You'll get that. And I came home and listened to the rest of the program that afternoon. And it just really gives you, there were 3 people there with Evan and from different faiths, and it was a wonderful, wonderful program. So catch that if you can. And,
One of the young women who was on the program with me, her name is Awal, and she came here as a refugee from South Sudan, she and her family. And one of the I didn't get to talk about it tonight because clearly I have a lot to say. One of the things that has been just really incredible over the last few years is our involvement with Mary's Place, which is a refugee outreach in the Maplewood neighborhood of Rochester, and the work that we've gotten to do. And I would bring my youth group down every Thursday. We would go down for service, and other youth ministers would say, "You do service every week?" and part of it was, it's how I survive in ministry, is staying grounded in, and Pope Francis talks about this all the time, is we have to be with the poor. And to get our butts down into the city one day a week and remember, this is who we are as disciples. This is what we need to be about. And, we can get riled up about this little controversy or that little hiccup in, whatever grand scheme we have as a parish. But staying grounded in social justice has been absolutely vital for me and has been transformative to the kids that I've worked with. There are kids, there's one young man who went into refugee law because he was involved with the refugee community here as a high schooler. And just so many stories like that where kids are, I mean, it's something that, kids want to make a difference. They want to make the world a better place. They see all the trouble around them, and they feel called to do something about it. And as church, we're uniquely suited to help them do that, to empower them to make a difference in the world. So,
We should end with that song, it'll make a difference.
it's in my book. It's in my book. Could we end with a song?
Sure.
Would that be all right? Do you guys have My Soul is Thirsting? And do you know that one? This you guys know? My soul is thirsting for you. Oh, yeah.
Father.
All right, let's do it. Yeah, this is a pretty musically savvy crowd. So,
That's actually.
I also use this song a lot with young people. One of the reasons is it's one of the common songs for ordinary time. So, practically speaking, whenever we'd have a liturgy and I'd say, "Ooh, that song," this could be our backup.
You're gonna have to yell out the words, we don't know this one by heart, I don't think.
Okay. What I'll do is I'll teach you the refrain because it's just a repeater, and then I'll probably just sing one verse, maybe two verses. So the words are, "My soul is thirsting for you, O Lord, thirsting for you, my God." Try that. My soul is thirsting for you, O Lord, thirsting for you, my God. And then the rest of the refrain is, "My soul is thirsting for you, O Lord, thirsting for you, my God." I think it'll be good.